Ahmad Kemal University, Professor Dr. Memin Şahin, and the management of the Dean of the Faculty of Economics and Administrative Sciences, Professor Dr. Rasim Yılmaz. We are organizing the third International Marketing Symposium. Also, I would like to thank the Head of Business Administration Department, Professor Dr. Ahmed Kubaş. The symposium aims to bring together international scientists and researchers from different countries to present their work and share their knowledge and create a platform that will enable national and international connection. Today, we believe that we have achieved our goal with our international partner university, Lingas Vidyapith, our partners, and Dr. Firdous, Malik, and Associate Professor Dr. Samriti Mahajan, who will give the keynote speech, and international keynote speakers, moderators, and participants. Thank you for all collaborations again. I would like to invite Dr. Firdous Malik for his opening speech now. Yes, Dr. Malik, you can start.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. I am fortunate to be present before you. I will be speaking about the future of marketing, innovation, integration, and impact. Good morning, good afternoon, esteemed colleagues, innovators, and leaders of the world of marketing. I would like to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude for this warm invitation by Professor Seda to speak about at this International Marketing Symposium, which is going on today, 2024. It is truly an honor to be here with so many brilliant minds, I can say, forward thinking professionals in the field of marketing. This event stands as a testament to the importance of collaboration, innovation, and continuous learning in every evolving industry. The opportunity to engage with such a distinguished audiences is both humbling and exciting. And I am thrilled to share insights on the future of marketing, its profound impact on the way we connect with consumers and shape the marketplace. Once again, it is an absolute honor to address this distinguished gathering of minds at the International Marketing Symposium 2024 as we step into a new era of global connectivity, technology, customer centric innovations, market at the crossroad of transformation. Let me quote Professor Seth Godin. He once said that marketing is no longer about the step you make, but the stories you tell. So, by this quote, we can understand that the shift we are witnessing after COVID 19, marketing today is not just about pushing products or services, it is about creating narratives, or giving connections, and building communities about or around brands. It is about fostering a sense of purpose, authenticity, and trust. By recent innovations, because of the great COVID-19, we can say, which has, taken so much manpower from us, but it has given us some positives also. Let me discuss the power of data-driven marketing. We nowadays are living in data-driven world where insights have become the currency of marketing. In 2024, we are discussing about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and predictive analytics. They are not just trends, they are nowadays accepted as essential tools for creating personalized experiences. Let me quote Professor W. Edwards. He once said, without data, you are just another person with an opinion. Let me repeat. Without data, we are just another person's opinion. So therefore, brands nowadays, they are having the power to understand the consumer behavior that was never before there. From segmenting audiences to predict buying patterns, nowadays we are using AI, which helps us to enable to use and go beyond intuition and make market decisions based on real-time insights. So by this shift empowers marketers to not just understand who the customers are, but why they behave the way they do. Second important point which I want to discuss today is social commerce and rise of digital communities. As we are, witness that social media continues to redefine the marketing landscape, but that trend has taken over in 2024 only. Nowadays, we are using social commerce, a seamless blend of e-commerce and social interaction, where customers are no longer confused with to the websites or stories. They are discovering and purchasing products directly through their social media platforms. So this is the new term which has been existed since 2024. In fact, nearly 70% of millennials report that social media influences their purchasing decision. As we are also, using social media frequently, we are getting inputs about brands and all. So this helps us in our purchasing decisions. And this influence is only growing. Brands must embrace influencer partnership. Live streaming sales are going on nowadays, and user generated content to drive conversations and maintain relevance. Let me quote Doug Warner. Doug Warner once told that in the world of internet customer services, it is important to remember your competitor is only one mouse click away. So in his quote, he is talking about that we should take care of the customer service, but it is important to be, you know, competitive enough because all these decisions, market services, they are under one click of a customer or consumer, we can say. As this digital ecosystem grows, the value of community becomes paramount. Marketers need to engage in meaningful ways, not just to sell, but to foster long-term relationships, build on trust and shared values. As again, we are talking about digital marketing, we are talking about social media, social commerce. There are challenges for these brands because fake products are coming. So therefore, to survive in marketing, the marketers should have the planning so that they can survive longer enough in this competitive digital world. Third important point which I want to discuss today is sustainability and the purpose driven marketing. The modern consumer is more cautious than ever the impact their choices have on the planet and society. In fact, it has been reported that there are almost 83% of global consumers now believe that companies should actually address social and environmental issues. This shift has led to rise of purpose driven marketing. Brands that align themselves with sustainability or we can say equity or social justice are not just seen as a more responsible, they are seen as more authenticity and therefore more trustworthy. Purpose isn't just a buzzword, It is a strategic imperative where companies should prioritize environmental stewardship. They should engage in fair trade. Also, diversity will be the ones that truly resonate with the modern consumer. Let me quote Professor David Packard. He once said, marketing is too important to be left to the marketing department. So in 2024, sustainability is not a separate part of marketing strategy. It is considered as integrated into every aspect of brand operation, whether it is starting from packaging to supply chain. Transparency is crucial, and customers demand to know what is behind the brand and what they support. So, therefore, in the modern world, marketing is not away from sustainability. It is once again one of the important aspects of marketing to be in line with sustainability. Fourth important point which I want to discuss with you, that voice and visual search. Voice and visual search is considered as a new frontier. As smart speakers and visual recognition technology became the mainstream, voice and visual search are quickly reshaping how consumers find product. By 2025, half of all searches are expected to be voice based. If you see new Android phone, Apple, which they have launched 16 Pro, and there are some features in other Android phones. So by voice, you can handle all the management within your smartphone. So therefore, this is not marketing is not behind in this. As per the reporting, they are saying that half of the searches are expected to be voice based in 2025, while visual search enabled by technologies like Google Lens is giving users the power to discover products through images. So marketers must adjust to these new forms of interaction. They should optimize the content for voice and visual search. Marketing their brands can help them to discover more through these innovative channels. It is important creating experience that transcends the traditional search box. So voice and visuals, they are the coming challenges for marketing to adjust to themselves, their branding. So next important point which I want to discuss with you is the rise of augmented reality, AR and virtual reality. The future of marketing is experimental in nature. As in 2024, we are seeing the evolution of AR, augmented reality, and virtual reality to create more immersive brand experiences, whether it is through virtual try-ons, interactive AR filters, or fully immersive VR world. These technologies are changing the way consumers interact with the brands and product. But besides all this marketing, innovation, technology, sustainability, wise brands and all, the important point, ethical and inclusive marketing. Consumers today are looking for brands that prioritize inclusivity, representation and authenticity. Ethical marketing, which includes respecting cultural differences, showcasing diverse voices, and being transparent about your brand practices, has moved from a niche to a necessity, we can say. Let me quote Professor Simon Sinek. People do not buy what you do, they buy what you do it. So ethical marketing is not just about being nice, it is about being genuine and demonstrating that your brand is aligned with the values of the customer, its service. So as we look towards the future, marketing will continue to evolve. It is driven by the technology, it is driven by data, and shifting in consumer expectations are going on. But one thing remains clear: the future of marketing is human centered, whether through personalization or sustainability, or we can say technological innovation. The brands that succeed will be those that connect with the customers on a deeper level, creating relationships that go beyond transaction. Here is the quote of Mitchell Hat: marketing is really just about sharing your patience. Thank you. I look forward to engaging with all you throughout this symposium as we explore the exciting possibilities that lie ahead in the world of marketing. Once again, I am very thankful to the organizers for this wonderful opportunity to share my insights about marketing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Firdous Malik. Dr. Firdous Ahmed Malik is also a member of our organizing committee, and we very thanks him for his excellent speech. Now I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Samriti Mahajan. She is also our partner. Yes, Dr. Samriti Mahajan, you can start your speech.
So thank you so much. First of all, a very warm morning to our esteemed guests, distinguished speakers, and the participants who have joined us today. And even I would especially would like to thank you to Dr. Seda from Tehit Kemal University for giving us the opportunity to collaborate and host the symposium today. So, as we know that today we are gathered here to explore the dynamic and ever-evolving world of international marketing. And this symposium, what I feel personally, is not going to provide a unique platform to bring together the brightest mind from academy, we talk about from industry and beyond to discuss the themes that is going to shape our global marketing landscape. So in this discussion, what I personally feel that we should make sure that we are going to cater, that would be how the sustainability, how innovation, how the connection, how the relationship building, that four different parameters, or we can say the pillars of society and environment are going to progress to change the power of marketing, and which is going to leverage the business into a success. So I would be talking about four different parameters in this symposium. So the first parameter which I would like to discuss is about the sustainability, as Dr. Firdous has also discussed in his, that sustainability is no longer a choice which is given to the participants or which are given to the consumers. So in today's world, sustainability is no longer a choice; it is a necessity. People are there thriving to get the sustainability. So the way we market the products and the services, so that must always align with the values of a conscious consumer base. As we are witnessing a dynamic shift, consumers are now prioritizing the brands that are going to demonstrate accountability and a commitment to preserve our environment. Like yesterday, only me and my husband were just discussing about that how much the air quality is now disturbed in India. We need to monitor that how we are going to create a sustainable environment for our kids. So sustainability is not just a buzzword around which is moving around in the world. It is a call to action now, because brands across the globes are adopting different practices that are going to reduce their environmental footprints. We talk about embracing the principles of the circular economy and integrating the sustainability into their core business strategies. But as the marketers, our responsibility is going to extend beyond the implementation. We need to now start following, and communication needs to be given so, and that efforts need to be put so authentically that the people should start working, and it should be a regular work for them. Regular job needs to be done. So today's marketing campaign, if we talk about, must not only highlight the sustainability efforts, but it should also educate and inspire the consumers to make better choices, whether it's through, we can say, eco-friendly packages, ethical sourcing, or the carbon neutral production. But sustainability should be at the heart of marketing strategy when we talk about the marketing topic. So, how different strategies are there into the market we give. For example, I if let's take a brand like Patagonia, which lead by a different example. So their campaign aren't just about selling the products; they are about advocating for environmental preservation, from reusing and repairing old gear to donating to grassroots environmental organizations. So these actions, if some companies are taking care, so these actions always inspire the consumers' trust and the loyalty factor, showing that how marketing can be a force for good also. So second parameter, I would like to talk about the innovation. Innovation, as we can say, it is a catalyst for a change. Whenever we talk about innovation, automatically in the mind, it comes that, okay, the things are going to be changed. Something new is going to drive into the market. So it is the driving force behind the successful marketing today's competitive global landscape. We are living in an era where we talk about the technological advancements, redefine how business are going to interact with their customers. AI is there, big data analytics is there, augmented reality is there, blockchain are which is there, which is going to transform the marketing strategies, creating more personalized and immersive experiences for the consumer. However, we should also think that innovation isn't just about adopting the latest technology, but rather than adopting it, I feel that it's about using it meaningfully. If we're going to use the technology meaningfully, then only we can bring that innovation. So it's about creating solutions that resonate with consumers and addresses their evolving needs. For instance, if we talk, so AI is helping brands to analyze the consumer behavior and predict the trends, which is going to enable them to stay one step ahead always. So, augmented and virtual reality are shaping the ways consumer interact with the products or allowing them to gain some new experiences. They connect with the brands in a ways that were unimaginable in a few years ago. Even I would like to give a very good example of a brand named as Nike, which has revolutionized the consumer's experience by combining the AI and AR in their apps now, allowing the users to visualize product before purchase and receive their personal recommendations based on data-driven insights. So these innovations, I feel, are not only going to enhance the customer journey, but it is also going to build deeper emotional connection. Because if we talk about the customer, about the marketing, about the strategies, there needs to be the emotional connection also between the customer and the product, the marketer who is making the product. So as we innovate, we must remember technology should not only alienate but bring us closer to our consumers, creating meaningful relationships that translate the transactions between two different parties. So how this goes across. So third parameter, we are going to talk about the connections, which is also known as the building bridge across the borders. So we can see that in an increasingly globalized world, marketing is no longer confined to specific geographics, right? The internet and social media have brought us closer than ever before, allowing the brands to communicate and connect with the diverse audiences. But with this opportunity, I would say there come a challenge also, which our coming generation, or we can say that currently the generation which is using this, so there is a big challenge that how do we ensure our messages are going to resonate with individuals from vastly different cultures, socials, and economic backgrounds. So that is a big, we can say, challenge into the current scenario. So for that, we can say that localization is the key. It's not enough that how to have a one size fits all strategy, but successful global marketing requires understanding the unique preferences, traditions, and the behavior of every region that aligns. At the same time, the digital age allows us to build global communities that transit physical borders, enabling brands to foster shared values and a sense of belonging across the world. I have a very good example. Day before yesterday, students of my MBA students, they came and they started pitching me about the Coca-Cola, and we just went into a discussion where we were discussing about the Coke brand, like Coca-Cola, share a Coke. That campaign is a brilliant illustration of connection and marketing itself. They have given the tag share a Coke. So by personalizing the bottles with common names in each country, Coca-Cola tapped into cultural relevance is going to provide it, creating a global movement that felt deeply personal at a local level. That could be a good agenda of the brands. And even as a marketers, we have the privilege of building these bridges not only to drive business outcomes, but also to promote understanding, inclusivity, and the unity across the borders. So, after the connection, we come upon the fourth parameter, which is impact, how the redefining of the role of marketing and how it is going to impact. So, the true power of marketing lies not just in its ability to sell, but in its potential to drive meaningful impact also. If we talk about in today's world, traditional metrics like sales and market, so share are no longer the only measures of success. Increasingly, we are being called upon to create campaigns that contribute to the greater good, campaigns that address the social cause, the social issue, promote the equity, and even they inspire the change into the consumers. So that is the value. So brands now have a platform to amplify voices, support causes, and even champion diversity and inclusion. So, marketing can be a powerful tool, I feel, to address the issues such as climate change, gender, equality, education, and more. And even the consumers, what I feel when we discuss about the consumers. So, consumers today want to engage with the brands that going to reflect their values. And as a marketer, we have the responsibility to uphold these values authentically. So consider like example, if I talk about the Dove. So Dove is now it has such changed its campaign. The original campaign was, and now the campaign we see in that advertisement that is totally changed. So their campaign has really redefined the beauty standards globally while promoting the inclusivity and self confidence. So the real beauty is the campaign now. So campaign like these shows us that marketing can do more than just to drive the profit. It can even empower the individual and inspire societal transformation also. So by prioritizing impact, we shift the focus of marketing from short-term gains to long-term value creation, ensuring that our efforts benefit not just business, but also communities and the planet. So, in concluding my all the 4 or 5 parameters, I would just say that marketing is as a force for good itself. So, as we are going to embark onto this discussion further, so we need to remember one thing that marketing is more than a tool for commerce. It is a platform for innovation and a voice for sustainability, a bridge for a connection, and a driver who is going to be globally impactful. So I would encourage all of you to approach today's symposium with an open mind, ready to share the ideas, challenges, conventional thinking, and even thank you for being here today. And even I am further looking forward for other speakers to share their point of view where we can just learn and enhance more of our knowledge, enlighten, and after the end of the day, we should be that much powerful that yes, we have learned one more parameter into the sustainability, into the marketing campaigns. So that should be the scenario. And lastly, I would like to thank you, Dr. Seda, once again for collaborating with Linka's Vidyapeeth. And we got a very good discussion, and we got such a nice platform where we can discuss globally that how two different universities can align and come onto a same platform, right? So thank you to everyone from my end. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Dr. Samriti. Thanks for your contributions. Now, I want to invite Dr. Neha Guleria from English Video Pit to manage session one. She will manage Keynote Speakers one session for us. Yes, Dr. Neha Guleria, welcome again.
Thank you, Dr. Seda, ma'am. A warm greeting of the day to all the participants, esteemed guests here. And it is a great pleasure to welcome you all in the International Marketing Symposium for 2024. Today, we embark on a journey to exchange our ideas and foster collaborations that will redefine marketing at global scale. So, for further insights, I would love to invite Professor Dr. Giuseppe Catenazzo, Dean of Academics at Helvetic Business School, Head of Research at AUS, and visiting professor lecturer. Sir, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Seda and Dr. Neha, for the invitation and welcome me to the symposium. I've prepared some slides to share. I don't know whether it's possible to, or otherwise, no problem. Yeah,
Yes, you can
perfect.
share, I think.
I see. I just got the authorization. Perfect. So, very briefly, um, I've been working in marketing for several years, especially in academia, and more recently, I've started to sway out from pure marketing and to try to think about what are the potential connections we can have with other disciplines. The previous speakers were speaking about, among other things, making an impact, try to cooperate and pass over the borders of our discipline. And that's what personally I've been doing in the last few years, or trying to at least. And one of the reasons, or one of the points after this, that I would say sparked my attention more closely is we have fantastic things we can get out of marketing. I will speak about a that I'm really doing at the moment on this point, the point of how to connect something that is really a natural user experience feature, such as comfort, which is something that I believe we're all familiar with in terms of theory, but in terms of practice, a little bit less, and how to make it operational. So to pass over the borders of traditional marketing and make it done, so more operational. All of this in by paying close attention, sorry, to the users and their own experience. So back and forth between these two major fields, marketing and operations. So today I'm here in the few minutes I have. Uh, I'm very happy to share this piece of research called a Formative Measurement Model for Travel Comfort and Operational Perspective. And I stress on the operational perspective because it's not only measuring how comfortable is an experience, but also what can be done to make it comfortable for the users. So I'm using a very traditional approach with just a background, the question, and some results. So we know very well that comfort is one of those constructs that, like many other constructs in marketing, we are very familiar in marketing or in relationship marketing, that are pretty straightforward in our mind. We know what comfort somewhat is, but then when we have to try to describe what comfort is, then the situation starts to be a little bit more challenging. Um, Most of research, when it has to measure comfort or to explain what comfort is spending most of you typically doing kind of a scale from 1 to 5, from 1 to 7 or to 10, how comfortable was the experience. And that's exactly what I don't want to do anymore, in the sense that as comfort is so complex, we know from the literature is multi-dimensional. In many fields, I will focus specifically on travel, but in many fields, well, can we do something more? Can we do something more to really capture the notion of comfort? And therefore, the piece of study I'm going to show is exactly on what are the antecedents, the drivers on onboard comfort for a long distance high-speed train trip. It's something that is becoming very popular or very relevant in Europe, I would say, because high-speed trains are getting more and more in a competitive marketplace. And that means that it's not like until a few years ago, you got only a national operator and the operator were only the only train provider. But now we are building a real international European marketplace. The same thing is happening in other parts of the world. So perhaps a little bit behind, but it's really going into this direction. So how to make a high-speed train trip comfortable? And we know very well, also, if I want to hook with the previous talks, that traveling by train is one of the ways to make our traveling more sustainable and therefore making also our efforts in terms of research and operations, what I'm speaking about, really also more sustainable. So, sorry. So before I move on, as we are a small group here today, I would like to play a little bit with me and to try really with scanning the QR code. You have a very, very, very small whiteboard. How would you define train onboard travel comfort? Because again, comfort, we know what it is, but then when we have to try to explain it, then everything starts to be a little bit more challenging. I believe maybe you have the perfect answer, and I will be very happy after the speech to go through and to read what your answer is. But that's something that I'm turning around or revolving around. So what I did is that I run an online survey on several hundred respondents in France who took recently a high-speed train. And then after all screening and so on, we came up to 130 people, which is more an exploratory study, what I'm showing you. So in France, why France? Simply because the country has been for over 40 years now a very wide and very strong network of high-speed trains. And in our survey, you see that we have a slightly young population, but not very young either. And using the two companies, basically, and from different parts of the countries, especially from Ile-de-France, as you can see here on the slide, which is basically the region of Paris. And from Paris, you have the starting point of all high-speed services in France. So building on the results from the surveys, I will not give you too many details, time constraints. Well, we have built a model, a structural equation model, a formative model, because the idea for my notion of travel comfort is really a pack of different experiences. Do I experience this? Do I experience this? And how all of these make up the notion of comfort. So it's really a different approach, quite common today, to slowly move away from more reflective and more going to formative constructs. And that's what we did. So as you can see here, the model is relatively straightforward. It's not rocket science, and I'm sure that over the next few days and weeks, I will also improve and make it stronger, more relevant. But the idea is how the different features that we try to create around an experience, a travel experience, make the experience of comfort, and then how comfort will lead to satisfaction and to loyalty towards a specific train operated company. And as you can see here, what we find that is, to my point of view, pretty interesting is that we have several dimensions that come from the literatures and from the literature and also come from the discussions with the different participants. And we have identified a certain bunch of dimensions. Each dimension has behind the different specific features. And the idea is how we can make, for instance, enough leg room influence the spatial experience regarding the train travel, and then this influence the notion of comfort and ultimately satisfaction and loyalty or other major constructs at the end. And what we did, we plot also some control variables. We have many control variables. And what we discover, and that's pretty interesting, is that here in this specific kind of train travel, well, we have to give more importance or more space to the onboard service, to the uh, well-being on board, the fact that, for instance, the train is not tilting too much or is not vibrating too much, then this is what we call the dynamic features, and also what we call the spatial features, whether there is enough seat, leg room, the seat is down, the windows are clear, and the layout of the cabin is good, the lavatory are clean enough, and so on. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that we are going to this direction where services or products need to be really tailored to the expectations and the needs of the consumers. User experience, consumer experience are two keywords that are very important in our field, and how to make them operational. This kind of model is perhaps one advancement that will try to give an answer on how to make it real and not only to say, we need to do this, we need to focus this. So it's really how to move one step ahead. I close here my presentation. I thank you so much for your attention and again, your invitation. I just share two invitations to all of you who are potentially interested on two events that with my school we are developing for the next few months. If you have any questions, just feel free to reach me out. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for being part of this symposium today. Next, I would love to invite Dr. Shivam Bhartiya, Assistant Professor, CDOE, Jain University, Bengaluru, India.
Thank you, Dr. Neha. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Uh, Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Neha. And I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Seda to invite me here. And after listening Dr. Firdous, Dr. Smriti, and Dr. VCP, and what idea I got is marketing is really a very essential part of branding, development, and customer satisfaction. Being a researcher in tourism from last 11 years, what I feel, what we are lacking in tourism industry nowadays is the coordination between the host population and the tourist, the coordination between the host community and the government, the coordination between the stakeholder, those who are planning for tourism development and initiating programs, and their commitment with the host community. And the repercussion is it's now clearly visible in many nations like Japan, US, also in some part of Europe. So this host and guest conflict is now very clearly visible. So today, because I have some other commitment with my university work, I have to attend one university convocation also. So I will not take much of your time. I just try to explain why we need to redefine the marketing ethos to bridge this gap between which is occurring between the tourism development stakeholders, government, and the host population. So redefining tourism marketing ethos in a very short term, it's a principle that contains the ethical commitment, uh, which led us to promote and represent the community and to give the more authentic and social responsible behavior, cultural sensitivity, and the environmental sensitivity. The another important thing when we talk about to enhance or to redefine the marketing ethos is related with the socio-economic equilibrium. It's not like we have to focus on one destination at a time and we keep on developing it. We need to focus on other part as well, other destination as well, those who are rich in resources, be it cultural resources, social resources, natural resources, and communities there are willing to accept the tourism development, but up to a certain level. Development doesn't means to develop without consent, development without planning, development without considering the host population involvement, then only we can achieve some socio-economic equilibrium. The next important thing is a community-driven narrative is also important because it's a powerful pathway to the sustainability by positioning a local voices, stories, and their perspective at the heart of tourism promotion. The next, when we talk about the how this socioeconomic equity and cultural preservation considered as a foundational pillars and how it benefits the community, it brings the socioeconomic equity, cultural preservation is there. And together, when we combine these two things together, we have a balanced framework where tourism supports rather than exploit the resources. And it also contributes to the resilient and vibrating sustainable destination. Like if I take example of Kedarnath tragedy in 2013, why this happens? Because the huge number of tourist flow was there at a time. The government was failed at time to manage the tourist inflow, and the tragedy kills more than 16, 17 lakh people. Still, villagers there are finding a skeleton of the tourists there who visited Kedarnath that particular time. So what I suggested when I was in PhD and I did my PhD from Uttarakhand only, what I suggested to the government through with the help of my supervisor and with the help of my university resources, I suggested we need to plan an alternative route. We need to plan an alternative destination from where we can diverse the tourist so that the carrying capacity of the destination will be managed. So in future, this kind of tragedy will not happen. The same thing happened now in Kerala, the landsliding. It's very rare in Kerala, but this time this happened and it happens very badly. So we have to find an alternative destination. Also, we need to involve in all the strategy, be it marketing strategy, be it selling strategy, be it development strategy. We need to involve the host population there to understand what actually they want, whether they want tourism or not, if they want, how much tourism they want. The another important thing which we have to keep in our mind is unchecked commercialization. We have commercialized everything nowadays. Even a religious tourism is also commercialized nowadays. We have to think how profit maximization is something else, which is I also consider it as an important thing. But sustainable, when we talk about sustainable practices in marketing and development, we need to check with this unbalanced commercialization, and which leads us to the environmental degradation, cultural erosion, economic disparities, and overcrowding at the destination. The next important thing is which we have to work on is authenticity, local empowerment, resilience. And when I talked about storytelling, community narratives, where the primary storytellers will be the local community, they can share their ideas, they can share their experiences, so that they can feel happy when tourists visit their destination and they share their resources with them. Custodian of heritage. Why we need local community in marketing ethos? Because they are the custodian of heritage. They know their culture better than anyone else. So we need them to understand their culture. Empowerment through ownership. When we say this, they are the custodian of heritage. they are the custodian of their resources, they are custodian of their environment. It means they need ownership. We have to involve them from the planning phase to the implementation phase and then the feedback. There are many examples, especially in India. Uttarakhand is the best example. Kerala, Himachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, Jammu and Kashmir. There are so many destinations in India. Even in southern part of India, there are so many destinations which are still unexplored. When we talk about hill station, people know the few names comes into our mind: Shimla, Mussoorie, Kasol. That Chikmagalur is a very prominent destination of southern India. It's a very scenic environment, picturesque environment. Communities are very well aware about the tourism, and they really need a tourism development in a manner they can enhance their lifestyle. So promoting and marketing of a destination from the stakeholder perspective, I am totally against of it. We have to think from the both side. We need marketing and promotion, especially in tourism. I'm not talking about other industries. I'm talking about tourism and hospitality industries. If we want to sustain our culture, if we want to retain our environment, and when we are talking about sustainability, we must understand the core essence of sustainability. Many people talk about sustainability nowadays. It's a very common word. Everyone is saying sustainability, sustainability, sustainability. Everything for them, everything is sustainable. But did they actually understand the core essence of sustainability? The essence of sustainability is passing the past and the current knowledge to the future people. And how is it possible? This is only possible when we sustain our host community. We're talking nowadays, we are talking about indigenous knowledge system. From where this word indigenous knowledge system comes from? This indigenous knowledge system comes from our own culture, our own community. We have to think, we have to plan our marketing strategy. We have to develop a master plan so that we can involve large number of host communities to reduce the negative impact of tourism on the social environment, cultural environment, and the natural environment, as well as to provide them a equal benefit. Then only we can achieve we are able to say that this destination is really considered as a sustainable tourist destination. With this, thanks to Dr. Seda and Dr. Neha and all other participants for giving me an opportunity to speak here. I'm really sorry because I'm a bit late for the convocation. They are keep texting me. So I'm really sorry for this inconvenience, but I'm really very thankful from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Dr. Seda. Thank you, Dr. Neha.
Thank you so much, sir, for your precious time and insights. Next, I would love to invite Dr. Shad Ahmad Khan, Assistant Professor and Chair of College Research Committee, College of Business, University of Buremi, Oman. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Neha. I hope I'm audible to all of you.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, I have made a small slide. I would like to share the slide as well. Yes, working. Thank you again, Dr. Neha and Professor Seda. You are the reason that I'm here today. It's indeed a great honor and privilege for me to be here today. And I'll not be taking long time for you all, but I'll be just throwing some light on the discussions that we were having. My point of discussion is about the digital practices among the small and medium enterprises of developing economies. And it is purely going to be a review-based case study because I have spent time in most of these economies personally. So I have whatever I'm going to talk today, it's not just going to be something which is drawn from the cases, but also from my own observations and experiences there. So I'm Shad Ahmad Khan, working as a chair of research committee and assistant professor in University of Buremi. Without any further ado, let's go to the main topic. I'll not be spending much time on this because the background is almost clear to everybody, because across the world, most of the economists, they are agreeing on this point that SMEs are the backbone of the economies, especially the developing economies. And it is mainly responsible for two things. It may not be very significantly contributing to the GDP, for example, for the countries like Saudi Arabia and all, but from the employment perspective, it does a big wonder, because there are around 40 to 50% of the workforce which are directly dependent on these SMEs. And for the countries, which is populated countries like India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, this number even goes to more than 60%. So from the employment perspective, this is very, very important thing that we need to understand. Digital marketing, as people have been already talking about this one, I won't spend more time on explaining what is digital marketing, but it is basically utilizing the digital channels for promoting your business. And there are so many tools and techniques that you can use for promoting your business. This is where the entire issue of digital marketing comes into picture. And that is the digital transformation among small and medium enterprises. Are they really doing a transformation? Are they really adopting digital practices? Because over a period of time, it has been proven that digital marketing practices for a small, medium enterprises are going to be more economical option as compared to the conventional marketing. For example, even if you don't go for hiring the high cost influencers today, even then, everybody who is having a mobile phone in their pocket, they can use the mobile phone. They can harness the advantages that mobile marketing is going to bring in, and they can use that ones. Especially after the advent of social media, things have become even better now. Means more and more people, they can use social media. There is a far more reachability. I believe me and Dr. Seda, we met on through a social media, and social media was the reason that we are sitting here today. And there have been so many things, for example, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, YouTube, that has been playing their role. And there is going to be a growth in the e-commerce as well. For example, the country where I'm right now working is Oman. We don't have efficient e-commerce so far here. So there is abundance of growth opportunities. There are abundance of things that is going to happen. For example, there are some of the indigenous companies which have come up recently in some of the countries that we are going to talk about today. For example, Flipkart. It is a very big success story in India. There is something called as Daraz, which is a big success story from Bangladesh. There is Souk from Middle East, which is known as Open Souk. And they all have been helping the businesses to grow. Means anybody can become a seller by registering themselves on these platforms. And there is a kind of ecosystem which is developed where the delivery system, it comes and collects the stuff from your side and it delivers to the prospective consumers. So the entire ecosystem is developed, and this is where the ecosystem has to be developed for the digital marketing practices for the developing economies as well. Though there are a lot of advantages, but there are challenges which is faced by most of the developing economies. For example, the first and foremost challenge is the access to technology. There are many rural areas, despite being a very developed economy, like for example, India is relatively in terms of the data cost, India offers very low cost data services to the people. But still, there are some of the settlements like rural areas where the internet penetration is not that strong. Still, there are places where the 4G and 5G penetration is not that good. We are working in Oman, Saudi Arabia. Still, there are places which is remote in size, which are not able to do well in terms of the technology. In case the technology is penetrated, another problem is the illiteracy among the masses. So there's a kind of a digital divide which is prevailing among the people. And because of this digital device, what happens is that there is lack of digital skills. People do not know how to use these devices in a proper way. Although smartphones and devices have become very common now, but still you will find that in many of the developing economies like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, India, Bhutan, there are people who cannot afford good smartphones. And since they cannot afford good smartphones, they face the problem of financial constraints as well. Then there are a series of regulatory and legal barriers. For example, in Oman, Saudi Arabia, the WhatsApp call and WhatsApp video call is not allowed, for example. So there are some of the regulatory and legal barriers also which is functioning in these regions. Sometimes there are data protection laws, there are commerce regulations, there is internet censorship, because of which what happens is many times these SMEs are not able to harness the technology to the level they could have harnessed. So this is one of the issues which is coming up. Many of the regions that we have sampled today, it is also facing a huge problem because of the cultural and language barriers. especially the Gulf area, for example. Most of the people, they are predominantly dependent on Arabic, and they don't know how to use or converse in English, and that becomes one of the problems. The same applies in India also, because Bhutan is said to have a 90% fluency in terms of English, but in the same English fluency, for exam for India, gets down to 30 to 40%. It is even far below for the countries like Afghanistan and Pakistan. So these are some of the issues which is happening because of the cultural and language barriers also. But there are a lot of opportunities. When I was working in Bhutan, for your information, I worked in Bhutan for almost 8 years. During that time, I found that the Bhutanese products, they were providing some of the best products available in the world. Means they used to really brag about the eco products that they were making, which were very, very green, eco-friendly and all. But the problem was that Bhutan was a small domestic market, and they were dependent on the tourists who are visiting the country. So when I was doing my research, I proposed to them as well that why don't you harness the digital marketing and try to get partnership with some of the global logistic companies where you can access the global market, so that people who are sitting across the world, they can access your product and they can order in online, because it's not possible for everyone to come to Bhutan and buy the things for there. The same applies for Nepal as well. The same thing applies for India. India did quite well in this area. But still, the countries like Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Afghanistan, Oman, for that matter, they have to work on these areas, actually. So there is an access to global market because of because of the digital marketing practices. It is going to be very cost-effective marketing, because if you compare to the traditional marketing, which I mentioned before, digital marketing is very low cost because there is a device in everyone's pocket which has to be used, and they can reach to their target audience more effectively. And because of the latest algorithms which are available, you are able to target your ideal customer. So ideal customer profiling is possible, targeted marketing is possible, conversion rate is higher. So all these things can be done. And more efficiently, there is something called a data-driven decisions. So most of the digital tools you can use, you can even track. For example, if you are posting anything on LinkedIn, for example, you can track how many impressions it has framed. So most of the people who they have the creator dashboards, and through the creator dashboard, you can see how many people were able to access the information that you have shared. Plus, there are opportunities because many of these countries are now coming up with some of the special policies from the government and the NGO side, and they are coming up with these kind of things. And soon, hopefully, the state of digital marketing is expected to improve in these economies. I'll briefly share the case studies. I'll not go into detail in the interest of time. For example, there are cases from India. For example, in India, there has been rise of e-commerce platforms. There have been some of the indigenous platforms like Flipkart and Amazon, Flipkart and Snapdeal. Amazon also has penetrated India very well, and Amazon has provided fabulous opportunities for the Indian SMEs to sell products. So they can register themselves as a seller, and once they have registered themselves as a seller, they can sell any product through these platforms. And plus, the SMEs in India are using the platforms like Facebook, Instagram quite efficiently. You will find a lot of Instagram and Facebook influencers. We call them social media influencers, which are helping these SMEs as well to reach the consumer. Especially in the food sector, you will find a lot of foodie vloggers have come up, and they are promoting most of the businesses. And most of these businesses are small businesses, actually. So SMEs are taking care of these kind of things. Oman and Saudi Arabia, they are also doing it to some extent. Saudi Arabia is more advanced as compared to Oman, if I say. But there is no indigenous companies as such. They are mostly using Amazon, which is having a kind of a delivery system in most across Oman. But still, you will find that there is a kind of promotion system that is happening through Instagram and Twitter. Since it's in the Arabic language, therefore the penetration on the global audience is very limited. But still, you will find that they are quite efficiently using it. But there's still a lot of things has to be done. For Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, they are predominantly going for mobile first marketing because they are using, for example, Bangladesh is using a platform called Daraz, and they are trying to sell things online. Sri Lanka is trying to overcome the recent economic recession that happened there because of the government issues, but they are also trying to overcome this one. But Sri Lanka is predominantly using WhatsApp for the direct marketing and all those kind of things. Nepal and Bhutan, these two countries are very close to my heart, and they have been doing quite well. I must share with the audience here that Bhutan was among the last country in the world to accept television. So television penetration happened only in the year 1999 for Bhutan. So imagine the level of technology. So I have met with some of the ministers in Bhutan as well, some of the policymakers, including the king, and they were quite proud about taking the late movers advantage. So in marketing, we teach about the first mover advantage, but Bhutan is the country which talks about the late mover advantage. So they say that when all the countries in the world, they have tried and tested certain things, certain phenomena in their nations, and they have failed, we try to take learning from them, and then we are able to do our own things at a very low cost, because the chances of errors are minimal when we have learned from others' mistake. So internet penetration in these two countries is relatively low. Most of the telecommunication companies in Bhutan, they are dependent on the Indian telecommunication companies. The same applies to Nepal, but the situation of the Nepalese telecommunication system is relatively low. So most of the SMEs, they are using mobile app, Facebook, to connect with the younger and urban population. But we need to understand that the level of remoteness in these countries is very high. There are a lot of people who live deep inside forests, deep inside valleys, who don't have connection with the mainstream people. So many a time what happens is that when you're talking about Bhutan and Nepal, the people, they concentrate on the major urban areas. So many a time the rural area gets ignored. And that is something which is becoming a problem. And many a time these urban areas, they have their indigenous businesses, which is creating the traditional handicrafts and all. And that is where they need to bring into to the mainstream media or the mainstream digital marketing. So that is one of the challenges which is happening there. So let's discuss about some of the key success factors from the marketing adoption. So one thing that the government has to do is to invest in the digital literacy. More and more digital literacy has to come up. So there has to be some of the efforts and things to taken up for the digital literacy. We need to take leverage of the local platforms as far as possible. For example, in Middle Eastern region, we have open souk, souk al-muftu, call it in Arabic. There's Noon, so there's Nool, there's Talabat. So there are some of the local platforms which need to be taken more leverage of. We need to have a strong digital presence. Most of the things, for example, if any business is open, it should be made a policy that they need to have at least a Facebook or Instagram page. So without the Facebook or Instagram page, without having a digital presence, they should not be allowed to do the functioning, because that is where the authenticity of the businesses it happens. And we can avoid a lot of businesses which is happening because of the fake things. So many fake businesses can be tracked through this one, and only the businesses which are going to come up, and even the verified ticks and other things can be processed through the government support. Then partnership and collaboration with the influencer, digital agencies, local businesses, they can also amplify things. Many businesses have realized it, especially in Oman and Saudi Arabia, in India. But still, this thing has to happen for the countries like Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bhutan. We don't see much of the preference given to these kind of influences there. So what are the recommendations for SMEs? I have come down to 4 recommendations primarily. The first recommendation is that they should be focused on the mobile first strategies. And what is mobile phone strategies? That whatever website, email, or ads that you are making, it should be optimized for the use on the mobile phone, so that you can reach to higher amount of people, because not everybody is having laptop or tabs these days, but they are definitely going to have mobile phones in their hand. So majority of the people who are having the mobile phones in their hand, they can at least go through the ads that you are trying to promote. There is something called the leveraging social media. Social media, you need not have to go for the traditional or conventional advertisements anymore. You can really take care of social media. There is something called as content marketing, which is happening a lot. Most of the SMEs, if they are able to take care of the content marketing, where they can share their stories, how they build up the business, how they are doing their daily life, etc., people get connected to that business. And what happens is that people, they are more interested in their day-to-day life. Then there's something called as investing in SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization, where you are using some of the keywords, how to connect with your audience. For example, if you're functioning in India, you can use the keywords as India, Uttar Pradesh, or Gujarat, just to target what kind of customers you are going to. So there is something called as content marketing, which I was talking about. So what happens is that if you are able to optimize your search engine optimization, you will be able to get the right customers without any much of the efforts. Then using the analytics, there's something called as Google Analytics, which have been very underrated among the SMEs in these developing economies. If they're able to use the Google Analytics in a more efficient manner, what will happen is that they'll be able to monitor their digital presence on across the platforms in a more efficient manner. There is something called as Facebook Insight. It is also available to the creators. There's Instagram Analytics. It is available to the creators. There's LinkedIn Analytics, which is available to the creators. So all these things are going to help you to find out who really your audience are, who are really your interest areas are. So in conclusion, here's a small summary that digital marketing, it has a lot of opportunity for the SMEs, especially in the developing economies, because with the digital marketing platforms, they can really expand their businesses and they can grow to the higher level. There are challenges, which primarily is because of the limited access to the technology and the financial issues and the lack of digital skills. But these things with the government support can be taken care of. The future outlook is that with the internet penetration, the way internet is penetrating more into most of the economies across the world, and more smartphone acceptance is there. And if the government supports the SMEs, they can really overcome most of these barriers and they can thrive digitally and they will be able to harness the technology in a far better way. So there is a call for action. The action is basically to the government, organization and SMEs owner that they need to collaborate to create a conducive environment for digital marketing adoption. So with these words, thank you so much. My email ID is here appearing on the screen. If you have any questions, any doubt, I'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, you can reach out to me through my email addresses as well. With these words, I rest my case. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ms. Neha.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insights. It was a great to listen to you, sir. Now, further moving, I would love to invite Professor Dr. Tahit Sufi.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you, organizers, Dr. Seda, Dr. Neha, for inviting me to the conference. And I'll just share my screen. I hope the screen is visible. Is it visible?
Yes, we can see it. Yes.
It's visible, sir.
Okay. This presentation is about, how basically tourists, they balance the risk and opportunity, what has been explained by the game theory, that how people they balance the risk and opportunities. So basically Kashmir as a tourist destination is a place which is highly popular among the tourists, but at the same time uh, there are many risks also involved, not all the time but sometime. So the question is that how do tourists overcome the risk to visit this place. So as we can see that, it's also called the paradise on earth. In 2022, 2.7 million visitors visited it. And at the same time, many tourists have concern about risk and all, but then still it is very, it's a very fascinating phenomenon that on one hand, people feel concerned also. And on the other hand, that, such a large number of tourists are visiting. So basically this idea is that, basically how do tourists, they balance the risk and reward. So if we see what game theory, game theory is basically talking about the same thing, um, that tourists are basically rational people who try to make decisions to maximize the benefits. They assess the payoff against the cost of danger. They try to predict the likelihood of adverse events and make decisions based on tolerance. Basically, this is what game theory is about. So we are basically adopting game theory to this phenomenon. So if we look at the attractive part, of the destination, what's called as the destination attractiveness in tourism. So it is basically primarily emotions, based on feeling, belief, opinion, and it's also something about the tangible parameters, what products and services the destination has to offer. And destination attractiveness is also something related to supply driven and demand driven, where supply driven is that what the destination has to offer to the tourists, and demand driven is how tourists perceive it as a destination. Okay, what are the risks? Basically, tourism, like any other business, tourism also has a lot of risks. If we talk any business in general, all the businesses have their own risks, and tourism also has its own risk. It can be terror threats, it can be disaster, it can be political instability. So there are so many threats which are already there, and tourists, they do take those risks very seriously. Now, if we look at Kashmir, even the tourists in Kashmir are also concerned about their safety, especially when media tries to highlight the issues on a very large scale. Similar incidents, they take place in many other places, but then they do not occupy so much headline, as occupied by the events in Kashmir. So it becomes, all of a sudden, it becomes a major headline across all the media, which really causes cause of concern among the tourists. Now, what happens is that, and then government also issues advisories about the visit, and also that also is a matter of concern. So these are how the concern is propping up in the mind of the tourists. But now, basically, the question is that how do tourists then balance? So the balance is due to the destination attraction. For example, the cultural attraction of the destination. So it is something so attractive that the tourists are ready to, face certain risks. The quality accommodation and the authentic cuisine. For example, the Kashmiri cuisine is so authentic. I mean, say people won't mind, the tourists who were surveyed in the study. So they said that, well, because of the cuisine, because of the attraction of the cuisine, we are ready to take certain risks. So that is how, these things, they help in mitigating the risks. The transport infrastructure of Kashmir is quite wonderful, and then the destination is quite user friendly, and the environment is quite excellent. I mean, say the tourists, they love to visit the old city and the local tourist places, and the local community is very vibrant, which is very hospitable. The people are genuinely, which is a major contributing factor. How tourists overcome the risk perception is the hospitality of the local people, which makes the tourists forget all the risks or all the concern they might have. So just talking to the local people, all those factors, we found out that because of these factors, these factors help tourists overcome the perception of risks. So this is what the story is about, what the study is about, in a very concise manner, said that this is how the risks are balanced against the rewards. So the risks are there, but then yes, the rewards are also there. So these are the factors that help in balancing the risk and reward. And because of these reasons, the tourists are ready to take certain risks. So this is the power of the positive destination image. When the image of the destination is very positive, so it can help in overcoming the risk and concern and the negative, especially generated by the media. So it can help in overcoming all those risks. So especially when tourists recommend the destination, despite being despite being at risk, or despite having any concern, when tourists come back, they recommend the destination to other tourists. So it increases the positive influence of attractiveness. And one more factor that is quite helpful is how government is taking preventive measures. Even that is also a positive factor that helps in mediating the risks. and information provided to the tourists also helps a lot in balancing the risks. So this is, I mean, say, this was the study on how, we can apply game theory to tourism. So basically, it was a new kind of idea because game theory is traditionally, used in international diplomacy and all. So we just thought that, basically the idea is similar in game theory. I mean, say people say, what are the benefits and what are the risks and how to manage. And so we applied it to the tourism also. And I think, it went well and the results were fascinating. With this, I thank once again to organizers, especially Dr. Seda, for giving me opportunity to be here, and Dr. Neha. Thank you very much and have a great day.
It's a great pleasure to have you here, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. Um, Further moving, next I would love to invite Assistant Professor Shana Shaikh. Ma'am, Shana Shaikh, ma'am.
There will be video for her speech.
Hello everyone, I am Shana Shaikh from ZSCB Thakur Narayan Degree College. Okay, so I would like to present my conference topic, that is innovative approaches to logistics and supply chain management, even overcoming emerging challenges. So let's start. Abstract. In today's global commerce, supply chain management and logistics face both challenges and opportunities, driven by rapid technological advancement and globalization. Managing the complex flow of capital, information, and goods has become increasingly vital for maintaining competitive edges. And this study dwells into three core elements essential for resilient and sustainable supply chain, highlighting the role of digital transformation through technologies like blockchain, artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things to enhance the decision making and streamline processes. Further, the study majorly focuses on supply chain resilience in examining strategies that enable companies to withstand disruptions and adapt swiftly. Through diverse case studies and literature, it offers a practical roadmap for navigating many complexities of modern supply chain. So, the main keywords are logistics and supply chain management, digital transformation, blockchain, artificial intelligence, AI, and the Internet of Things. Let's start with a small introduction. The main study focuses on the foundation of global trade, how it had evolved from the traditional methods to tech-driven ecosystem. Technologies like AI, blockchain, and Internet of Things are major efficiency and security in supply chain. So as per the different environmental changes, sustainability is now critical alongside the growing need for resilient network. So this paper mostly explored how the interplay of technology, sustainability, and resilience shapes today's supply chain challenges and opportunities. So while conducting this research, there are two problems stated. The first one is challenges facing supply chain management, disruption, sustainability concern, and the second one is impact of digital transformation on supply chain management. Now, so as per the problem, I have stated two objectives. The first one is to evaluate the present and upcoming difficulties in supply chain management and logistics, including pressures from sustainability, technology advancement, and disruption from the world event. And the second objective is to examine how supply chain resilience and efficiency can be improved by using technologies like automation, blockchain, Internet of Things, and also artificial intelligence. However, that is review of literature. The literature basically surrounding supply chain management and logistics, which highlight the three major things which is very essential to modernizing the field. And so these themes are widely explored by many scholars and industry leaders, providing valuable insights into current trends and challenges. So, scope of the study. Basically, this study explores innovative strategies and technologies to address key issues in logistics and supply chain management, including disruptions, globalization effect, sustainability demands, and digital transformation challenges, using a descriptive exploratory approach. And it also identifies key innovations and examines how they help overcome industry challenges. And for conducting this research, basically, when we talk about research methodology, the study relies heavily on secondary data sourced from a diverse range of recent literature, including academic journals, industry reports, case studies, and white paper. This literature provides insights into best practices, case studies of successful implementation, and expert analysis on cutting-edge technologies like blockchain, AI, and IoT, that is Internet of Things. So I have started this research with digital logistic transformation. The very first one is technological development, where the logistics sector is being transformed by technologies like AI, blockchain, and Internet of Things. AI improves the demand forecasting, which helps to reduce overstock and also stock out, streamlining inventory, lowering cost. Additionally, AI-driven predictive analytics and automation enhance decision making. Internet of Things enables real-time shipment tracking, providing insights on location, temperature, and more through the supply chain. The second one, implementing digital solution. Adopting digital solutions requires strategic planning, data protection, and workforce upskilling. Business often prioritize phased rollouts in the key areas, effectively managing resources and risk. Fostering a digital culture through training and engaging stakeholders ensures a smooth transition. Results and case study. For this research, I have taken a small case study where a success story shows how the impact of digital transformation had taken place. A retail chain leveraged, that is AI, for accurate demand forecasting, cutting inventory cost, while a global logistic provider used Internet of Things to improve tracking, visibility, and customer experience. And these cases demonstrate how digital transformation drives competitive advantage in a tech-driven market. So as per this mitigation and resilience, there are three forms. The first one is we need to identify the risk. Okay. After identifying risk, it is very important to build resilience. And this I have explained with a case study. And as you can see in this diagram, a framework for the strategizing supply chain risk mitigation. First, we need to understand the risk threshold. We need to define the boundary conditions. We need to identify critical partners, trade-off management, agree on funding model, and ready to start the project. So when we talk about case study, here I have taken the real world example demonstrate effective risk and resilience. So especially after the COVID, during COVID-19, even we can say that there are many companies who are finding different alternative and supplier which has shifted to the regional inventory. Okay, so again during that time also it was very important using technology so that logistic can run smoothly. So next one is cooperative supply chain. As we can see the raw material, how raw material we need to produce constant, then it gets transferred, distributed, retail, and finally it reaches to our customer. So in the best world, individual business units cooperate and receive only payment when final customer pays. So in this way, inventory is greatly reduced. Quick delivery and response to changes possible. When we talk about cooperative methods for supply chain, the first one is importance of collaboration. Collaboration is very important. So for collaboration, we need many collaboration tools. And as due to this collaboration tools, there are many benefits as well as there are many challenges. As we can see this diagram where supply chain models are there, which is very important for continuous flow model, efficient supply chain model, custom configured model, fast change model, agile model, and flexible model. So impact of real-time collaboration. Because of cooperative methods for supply chain, what is the main impact? The main impact is it improves the transparency and trust, better resilience and escalation control, holistic data management and areas, and reduce cost, and which lead to higher profitability, and strategic planning and proactive roadmaps. Even with the help of creative models of logistics, the first one we can see the model is resilient and agile network, where we can see with this diagram how there are different agile networks. See, retail logistics. First, there is large manufacturers, economy of scale, and then it goes to regional warehouses and then retail stores or mall. The second one is smart logistics. When we use technology in logistics, it goes on demand order, then small and large manufacturer, and then agile transportation, and then distribution center, and then consumer, and again feedback. As per the feedback, again it reverse logistic took place. The next model is circular supply chain. Materials, manufacturer, distribution center, final destination, again based, and again after being based, it again started reverse logistic, recycle or reuse. So this goes on continuous in a circular form. That's what is known as circular supply chain. Collaborative logistics ecosystem. When we talk about collaborative, as we have mentioned earlier, there are many benefits as well as challenges for the collaboration. Here we can see when we talk about collaborating, after collaborating, our main objectives get fulfilled. There are differences you can see over here, shipper and customer. Between it, there is transportation management and warehouse management. Transportation management, order management, then it goes to transportation planning, it goes to transportation execution, and then freight settlement. Even when we talk about warehouse management, inbound storage and operation and outbound processing. Okay, and so this goes on continuous. As much as possible, we need to collaborate so that our function can go smoothly. So finally, conclusion, when we talk about, already we have discussed with the challenges, again we have discussed about the models, which is very important. Okay, so this study underscores the vital roles for digital transformation, sustainability and resilience in modern supply chain management technologies like blockchain, AI, Internet of Things, which enhance the supply chain efficiency, security and transparency. So sustainability is also highlighted for both environmental as well as financial stability. Additionally, the need for resilient, adaptable network is crucial, as per the recent global disruption have shown. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sana ma'am. So I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to distinguished guest and keynote speaker for this session. And with your presence, it was a great enriching experience with you and for International Marketing Symposium 2024. So with this, we can close this session. Thank you everyone.
And thank you, Dr. Neha Guleria. Thanks for your moderation. And thanks for each speakers. I think this session is finished and other sessions is already begun, but some of them is not here. So we wait for them. If you want to see other session, please join into other links that I sent you. Now we can finish this session. Thank you again. Thanks, Dr. Neha. Thanks, Dr. Ahmad. Thanks for here with us. I will stop recording now.